Makachoy. Zaha! Oh yes! Wilfried Zaha, single-handedly, firing Palace to Wembley.
It's Mile Jedinak to strike it! What a fabulous free kick! Murray, chance here, Gale, 3-3! And Dwight Gale, they just have blown Liverpool right out of the title picture. Will take the penalty and scores! Crystal Palace 1, Watford 0.
And with Benteke in there, you never know. Oh, goodness me! Oh, goodness me! What a steal, but what a goal!
They still got it. And still, are you? Oh, what a goal for Crystal Palace!
Good evening. Eagle-eyed Football here, your boy Rich. And before I obviously bring on our guest today, just a reminder, this is an international version of Eagle-eyed Football here. We had a very successful show with Palace Ghana. Today I'm extremely excited to be joined by a Palace fan all the way in Sweden. And this is a massive shout out to those Palace fans all across the world. If you support the red and blue and you'd like to come onto the channel to talk about how you became a Palace fan, I am more than happy to have you on. Absolutely buzzing about this show tonight. But first things first, it has been a long wait, a very, very long wait. But finally, I'm going to have to take my headphones off for this one. It has arrived. What a thing of beauty. Oh, it looks so good when it's actually on. No word of a lie. The home kit has arrived and I love it. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. But without further ado, I would like to introduce to you our guest from Sweden, Jesper Vestin. Good evening.
All right, Rich. Nice to see you. Glad to be here.
No, thank you so much for coming on. And we got Nate in the chat already. He's got the Swedish flag there.
Great,
absolutely
love it.
represent. And big up Brush as always. You know, popcorn gang. That's all we do. Eat popcorn whilst watching streams. What do you think of the kit, by the way?
I love it. I gotta say, like I said it before I saw it on the players the first day, the first game, I didn't really think much of it, but now that I've seen it on the players and on you now as well, I gotta say I love it. It's a great kit.
I appreciate that. And no, thanks as well, Nath. I'm trying to do it justice. And so let's talk basics, generics first. So you're from Sweden, but whereabouts in Sweden are you from?
A little town called Nyköping. It's about an hour drive south of Stockholm, I'd say. Born and raised. Haven't been far.
No, wicked. And what would you say is like the footballing sort of like culture, not only in Stockholm but in your town?
It's kind of low key, I'd say. Our own leagues aren't, in comparison to the bigger leagues, it's got basically nothing. So most of the real fans have Premier League teams, like myself. Most of them usually cheer for the likes of Liverpool or City or United, but
right.
Some of us, maybe just the one, cheer for Palace.
And we're definitely going to get into that a little later in the show. But I want to start off with, first and foremost, your earliest footballing memory. Like, did you play football as a youngster? What brought you to the beautiful game?
I played it a lot while I was a kid. It was a long career, is quite a stretch, but I played from the age of 7, I think, till about 18. Most of the time I was a keeper. and biggest memory in general, I'd say we had this local derby, if you like, against a team called Nyköpings BIS, which were by far the better team. They always were. But then one afternoon we had them in a tie. I think it was 4-4 or something like that. And they managed to get a penalty like the last minute. And I saved it. And that has got to be the biggest memory for me. It was scary, though, because when I saved it, my teammates all came rushing in celebrating. So while we were celebrating, they managed to take the corner kick and almost score on the corner. Thankfully, they did not. And the game ended in a tie. But it could have been real bad.
Yeah. And would you say that football is something that you wanted to pursue as a career, or is it just like for fun?
For me personally, when I played, no, it was never serious like that. Mostly because I did it because my mates did it. And not to take anything away from the game. I love the game. I would love to watch it. I love to play it still to this day, just not too competitive. And I think that's basically the thing that kept me from going for it. I've never been competitive enough to really go for anything like that, I'd say.
Sure. Big up Dola in the chat. Hope the family's well, Dola. Man United fan. So it's amazing to have so many different fans that come over to this channel, you know, and football's a universal sport, you know. It brings everyone together, sometimes divides, but it does really bring us together. As we're here, and if you're tuning in, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, and chuck in comments to Jesper as we go along as well. If you only want to ask me any questions, feel free to chuck in the comments and we will address them.
But Rich, you're still playing football, right? Quite seriously, or have I got that wrong?
Not seriously. It is still like competitive football, but it's like grassroots in a sense. The furthest I got was semi-professional in my career and such. And I've said it like before, you know, sometimes you hear people say, "Oh, I didn't make it because of injury." I mean, I did get a knee injury. However, I'm not saying that's the reason I didn't make it. I may not have been good enough. I may have been good enough. I don't know. Like there's millions of players like trying to make the game, you know. So I will never put it down to the fact that I got injured and such. But I had to make a serious decision as to whether to play at such a very, very high, fast-paced level and maybe end my career, or kind of like tone it down a bit. And I thought, you know what, I'd rather tone it down to be able to play for longer, basically. And such. So Nate here says most Palace kits aren't initially shown love, save for the abomination area of 16-17. We are safe from 16-17 was a tough one. Loving the show, guys. Appreciate that. And I hope Thomas Brolin wasn't the reason just for sacrifice. You know what? You know what? Funny enough, like, don't jump the gun. Don't jump the gun there, mate. We're going to come to that. 16-17 should have just been cancelled. Absolutely. Who was your footballing hero, though? I'm obviously coming from Sweden. Was it someone who was Swedish, or was it another international footballer?
I'd have to say it is a Swedish player, actually, not Thomas Brolin. I would have to go with Henrik Larsson. Just based on the fact that he was in the 94 World Cup with Sweden, which is literally my first memory of a big World Cup like that. And we placed third, which was amazing, considering our chances in general. And, you know, just such a humble player in general. Stayed with Celtic, was very, very loyal like that, played for Barcelona for 2 years, got to really show that he had the capabilities to play in the big leagues, even though he just stayed in Celtic for such a long time. Yeah. So, I mean, just the combination of such a raw, good talent in combination with being a humble guy is that just does it for me. I like those kind of players.
He was a lethal striker.
For sure.
Lethal striker. Any sniff in the box, he's putting it away. And I mean, obviously, and it's not everyone, but a lot of people think that unless you do it in the Premier League, you don't kind of get the recognition you deserve. Mm-hmm. Well, he in the latter stage of his career, I believe it was like a 6-month loan to Manchester United. It wasn't for very long.
Exactly. I think he scored like 1 goal and made like a handful of appearances or something like that. But then again, he was, I'd say, almost mid-30s.
But he was still loved.
Sure. And I mean, I think that goes hand in hand with the fact that he was such a humble, lovable guy.
Yeah.
You know, like the fact that the big team still wanted him, even if it just was for a loan for United for a while, they were still seriously interested on having him on the team.
No, absolutely. Dollar here again. As much as I get onto Palace, I hate to admit you guys are doing well this season, and that's one of our topics today. Actually, we're going to get your viewpoints on how we're doing and such. Lars was a bad boy player. You know what? Let's tackle this really quickly. Actually, what's your thoughts on the Newcastle takeover? As Palace fans, would you like that kind of owner to come in? I've been asked this already. So you go first.
The thing is, no, I don't think I would have wanted it that way. Not in any way, shape, or form. And I'd rather see us in my entire lifetime never winning the Premier League than winning the Premier League on those premises. I can't really stand it. That's just my opinion of it.
Is it the fact that it's just any owner buying the club, or the fact that this is specifically a Saudi owner?
It's a little bit of both, I'd say. Sure, I believe that the economics plays a huge role. It plays a massive role. And I would love to see changes in that department, like there should be a set number of players from the academy or from the youth academy in order to play in the Premier League or something like that. Something that would like even the playing field. And sure, the fact that he is who he is, I don't really have. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know everything about this band, but
yeah,
the few things I know are not that graceful, so to speak.
No, 100%. I ain't going to sit on the fence, Dollar. I'm going to answer this question. Personally, that sounds like I'm going to sit on the fence. I see both sides basically, and the point that you made regarding not winning because of the money side to it, I get. It's like I feel like you have to work hard for what you get. But the reason why I will take it, though, however, I feel as a club we are a London club, and we are actually a big club. And I think even little things like a Los Angeles Park, but it needs renovating.
Sure.
You know, so in that aspect of it, I would take a takeover, because I think if it's done the way that City did it, because City, what they've done, they've also rejuvenated like the local area as well.
Sure.
If it's done in that manner, I'm all for it and such. If it was done in the Chelsea manner, where it was just to gain success, and I'm not knocking them because success is success.
Sure.
But I don't think anything's been pumped into the local area. They've got an academy where they just loan out players, like 40, 50 players left, right, and centre, who some of them might not even get a chance. We end up benefiting from two of them this season. And obviously Loftus-Cheek in the past. So, you know,
but once again, I mean, that's the thing. We get to benefit on them for a while because they have such massive resources in the form of money. They can just buy all the good players, lend them out until they feel like, yeah, all right, they're ripe and ready to come and play for us again.
Yeah,
which, you know, I love Conor Gallagher right now. I'd marry that man.
Go let the missus hear that.
I mean, there's a massive chance that he won't even be playing for us next season, and that just it breaks my heart. It's terrible.
It is terrible. It is. Nate, again, what we have works. Yes, we're very much untapped potential, as Darth Parish put it, but obviously being able to significantly improve our club and community, as well as improve our infrastructure. And I think that's the reason why I would go for it. It's really just more so the community and the infrastructure side to it. And if that's built, happy days. If we kept the same players and kept our same model with regards to the transfer window, cool. If the money comes in to build the infrastructure and the community, I'm all for it. But keep chucking in your questions, guys. That was actually a good question, to be fair. So let's go into it now. Why Crystal Palace?
It's it's not your standard story about, heritage, like your mother or your father tells you that, son, this is your club, this is what we're doing, this is what we're supporting. I had one of those, a Swedish one, which is Djurgården. And if anybody asks me which team I support here, I'd answer Djurgården, but I have nothing for them. I don't follow the games. I don't really care. But most of my friends have a Premier League team that they support. And every time we meet up, I'd say like from our early 20s, they'd spend an hour talking about their teams. And I was just sitting quietly beside going like, oh yeah, all right. I don't know who that is, but all right. So one day about 6.5 years ago, I walk into my friend's apartment and I say, you know what? I want a team. Just help me figure out what team I'm supposed to support, and I'll go on board, like 100% commit to that team. And I don't want one of the top 10. I don't want a club that I can't relate to. And we talked about it for a while. And it just, because of the atmosphere that seemed to be there, then we watched some clips and just it felt so wholehearted and family-like that I was like, you know what, it's got to be Crystal Palace. Unfortunately, I came in at the wrong time. It wasn't really our best couple of years. We had managers coming in and out, and it was all just a mess for me. I was just trying to, get in touch with the history of the club and, the team and the manager and what the plan was. And once I'd settled in, we changed manager. And I think we went from, I started when we had Alan Pardew, and then we went to Sam Allardyce, and he was great, I thought. But then he retired, but didn't really retire. Bastard went to Everton straight away. And after that, we have the Frank de Boer disaster. So, I mean, the first couple of years were hard for me. And then, Roy the Saint came in and sort of made it a little bit more calmer, and I could really get into the team. So I'd say I'm a rather fresh Palace fan, but 100% wholeheartedly support the club, even though it's only been like 6 or 7 years.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question on that in a minute. So Nathan's in the chat again. I'd love Stupid With available to us at the risk of becoming a plastic club with fans that don't know the home store from the Alpha. No thanks. No, absolutely. And you mentioned obviously the passion and the atmosphere. The home store and the Alpha, when they get at it, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Exactly.
But you mentioned obviously your friends having fellow Premier League clubs. So are you the only one outside of the traditional top like 6 to 10?
I've got one friend who's an Everton fan. Two friends that support Everton, and I'd say maybe they could be considered a top 10 team. I guess they really established themselves in the Premier League, but that's about it. Other than that, it's Liverpool, it's United, it's Man City, and the likes of that.
Do you find it difficult to like have those conversations because of the fact that we're Palace? Yeah.
I'd say. I mean, it's because it's it's a different world. It really is. I was talking about how good of a job Vieira was doing this last month, and I was going like, man, look at it. He's made 4 subs. That's all been goal scorers. Like we have the most scored goals in relation to subs this season so far. So I was just making a case for him being at least considered manager of the month. And they thought I was a nut. They did not agree with me whatsoever. And that just shows the level of playing field that's the difference between us. Because, I mean, yes, sure, Klopp they have won all but one game. And I mean, sure, he's a great manager, but I would just love to give Vieira some recognition for the good job he's been doing.
You know what? I think they're slowly starting to do so because start of the season, we were completely written off. We were tipped for relegation because it wasn't Roy Hodgson, basically. And I was thinking, minus the Chelsea game, because that was rough.
Sure.
Every game since then, we've gradually improved and stuff, to the point now we've had very decent teams in Tottenham, Brighton, and Leicester come to our home ground, and we're dominating possession.
Exactly.
And I think Vieira will start to get his ratings very soon. And you know what? I think where the biggest rating's going to come? I reckon we beat Arsenal.
Sure, of course. But I mean, that's the thing. He comes in being a legend already from the beginning. People were talking about the Vieira poll all of a sudden, and the way he could get us players that were good and stuff like that. And sure, I mean, talk about that as much as you want. I love it. I couldn't tell you how much.
100%. 100%. Manager. Oh no, sorry, wrong comment. I'll read this anyway. Y'all been playing well. Some of those games have been a toss-up. No, absolutely. Manager of the month is Curse, but love to hear about Jesper and how he became one of us and such, which he obviously explained. So I know it's kind of like potluck, but I'm glad you've joined the Red and Blue, even though it's been 6-7 years.
Glad to be part of it.
If you beat Arsenal, I'll be so happy. The United fans have turned up. Big up Parallel Continuum, and also big up Bradley. Lindelof is the best Swedish player of all time.
Bold statement.
Brad is a massive Lindelof fan, to be fair.
Really? All right.
Yeah,
but he's not a bad player in any way, shape, or form. I just don't think I'd put him as the best, in my opinion. Not with the likes of, well, Henrik Larsson, as we've already touched upon. And, you can't forget about Zlatan Ibrahimovic either.
Yeah, I believe, and that's what Santiago said, he's been disrespected.
Exactly, look at that.
And then, blessings everyone. Yes, Verbs, big up to you too. On that note, let me just, I know it's a sidetrack, but we've obviously got Anderson and Gay. Would you take Lindelof?
As of right now, no, I wouldn't. I mean, the way that these guys have started off and the way that they're developing at such a fast pace together, no, I'm not sure I'd take anyone at the moment for a center back. I mean, I'm loving the way these guys are playing.
Our centre back partnership, I'll make the bold statement. I think it's probably, as a partnership, one of the probably top 5 in the league at the moment. As a partnership,
I totally agree.
I think they're brilliant. To be fair, I mean, obviously we've made some individual mistakes, unfortunately, but apart from that, they've been brilliant. Bradley was asking about your real opinion on Lindelof.
Mine, I mean, he is a great player, and I mean, the thing is, I think there's such a big difference from when he's on a high or when he's on a low. And unfortunately, I believe his lows can be somewhat
magnified.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. But when he's really like at his best, he's a magnificent player. I would never take that away from him.
I find it funny because he's almost similar to Paul Pogba in the sense where, like, for club, he's kind of like, he divides opinion, he's always hit and miss and such. But for country, he's unbelievable.
Oh yeah, that's another story.
he's really good for Sweden.
For us at the moment, he's basically invaluable. And with the likes of what we have to pick from, he's out of everybody else's league basically. So I'm very happy to have him in the national team.
Absolutely. Oh, there it is. It took a bit long to come up. Lindelof. Nah, mate, nobody gets near the Swedish every Erdel Rekip. Lindelof got out-jumped by Slop. Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Come on, Brad. You can't be getting beat by a hobbit in the air. Oh, Nate. You're too much. So is he the GOAT? Oh gosh, Bradley's not going to let this Lindelof thing go. He's
you know what? Just to make him happy, let's say he's the GOAT for now.
Parallel says, I think it's mad how Mitchell stepped into Patrick's shoes. Very impressive. Listen, there's a few players that Patrick's really developed. And we're actually going to talk Palace in greater depth in a minute. But now it's a great observation there, Paolo. What's your first memory of Palace then? What is your actual first memory?
The actual first memory, I think that the first real memory I have that's a good memory, was when I really started to go into depths of learning everything about Palace. And I made myself, I was on vacation and I was hungover. So I had nothing really good to do for the better part of an afternoon. So I decided to make like a test for myself. So I was basically studying history and the such of the club. Not really because I needed to, just because I felt like I wanted to. I don't feel like I need to know everything about the club to, be able to say that I'm a true hardcore fan just because I missed the first like 25 years of my life not being a Palace fan. But, I'm here now and that's what counts.
Absolutely.
But I'd say that when I aced my own test, that's like the first time that I really felt like I really wanted to do this wholeheartedly. So I'd say that. In terms of playing, I had, like I said, I had a rough couple of years, the first ones. The club was not a mess necessarily, but there was a lot of ups and downs, and it held me on the fence because there were more tragedies than happy moments the first couple of years.
Absolutely. For me, personally, being at Wembley and seeing Pardew dance, knowing that we had 12 minutes to go. Anyway, let's bring you back to a dark place and such. And yeah, United obviously beat us in the FA Cup final, where Clattenburg was the 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th man for them. But it's another comment from Nick. Mitchell is the left back we hoped PVA would be. The fact he's an academy boy makes it all the sweeter. Absolutely, our academy right now is thriving.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely
Definitely.
thriving. Have you had the opportunity, to go to Sellers Park?
I was literally on my way a year and a half ago, and then COVID happened. So yeah, terrible. But me and a couple of my mates are actually planning to go to Selhurst after New Year's.
Oh, okay.
Unless it all comes back and we have to lock ourselves in for another half year. Let's just hope it doesn't
hopefully
happen.
Not.
So I'll be at Selhurst for the first time, hopefully start of next year.
Oh, that'd be wicked. Yeah, let us know when you're down, actually.
Yeah, sure.
Let us know when you're
Absolutely.
down.
I will be bringing a United and a Liverpool fan, though. You'll have to. You'll have to.
You can leave them at Heathrow or Gatwick, wherever you're flying into. Right. Let me just address a few more comments. We lost to Clattenburg, not Man United. Very good point. And Pardew was the 100th man. If you didn't do that celebration, you might have won. We had to bun you for that celebration. And that's what hurts the most. Because had we won, fair enough. But he danced and we lost. And it's just like, you idiot. Painful. Hey, stop trying to bring me back to that. We're in a better place now.
Sure,
Fabs.
sure.
So what would you say is your highs and lows as a fan then?
The low has to be like 4 or 5 games in with Frank de Boer. It's hard not to take that as my prime choice. Those were dark times, and as a sort of a fresh fan, I felt like, you know what, I'm really starting to get into this, and we're gonna get relegated straight away. Is that how it's gonna be? But I mean, Roy the Saint came in and he picked us up from that. So I'd say, sure, we didn't play the most entertaining of football, but what little means Roy had and what little money he spent during his 3 years at Crystal Palace is most probably one of the big reasons that we're here right now.
Yeah. And
he also gave a lot of our youngsters time as well. Some people say that he didn't. I don't necessarily agree with that. And I mean, he brought up Fampisaka in a beautiful way. I'm sad that we lost him, but I'm also happy that we got quite a bit of money for him.
Great business for him.
So sure, you can say all the bad things you want about the way Roy played the game, but in the end, he's one of the reasons that we're here today with this bright future ahead of us. And I'd say the highs are, just any time we steal points from the top 6, just any other games, it doesn't really matter. And of course, like the real smashers, like when Townsend put it in the back of the net from what seems to be like 40 meters against City, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or when we were pushed down by Liverpool and we managed to play our way out of it. I think it was like the 18-19 season. And we just play ourselves out of it. And in the end, Townsend up at the other end just puts it in. Stuff like that. I mean, I can get chills just talking about it. So I'd say any of those moments. Like last season, 3-1 away against United. Beautiful. I mean, I was happy for weeks.
Absolutely. Just going to address a few other comments. Has there been any Ibra chat?
Not really yet.
What's happening for people? Big up Rush. And Rob Carey, fellow Palace fan. Yo, man, gonna watch later up the Palace. No, it's in. You know where to find us. You can watch it live. You can watch it and repeat it, no matter what. Just like it and share it, and subscribe if you're new. Who would you say is your all-time favorite Palace player? It could be past or present.
It's a hard one. I really like Johan Kabay when he was playing for us. He just falls into the like perfect category for me. Humble player, good player, doesn't make a lot of fuss about himself. I just thoroughly enjoyed him and the way he was playing. Other than that, I mean, I've fallen madly in love with Eze ever since he came along.
He's different class.
Zaha, of course. You can't forget about Zaha. I mean, he's been such a big part of the foundation of the club for so many years now, and he's still with us, giving us his all. So one of those three, I'd say. I do have some serious love for Vicente Guaita as well. We have...
He's doing or nothing at the minute, he is.
Not at the minute, though. I mean, last season, he had games where he was like unstoppable, and we have him to thank for a lot of points last season. He had some serious pressure put on him last season, I believe, and I think when we needed him the most, he really showed us that he's a top keeper.
That's a fair point, yeah. So would you say Eze is your favorite current player at the moment, then?
Since I don't dare say Gallagher, yeah. I'd have to go for Eze. Just because of the fact that he plays, it just looks so fun when he plays, doesn't it? He just thoroughly enjoys it.
Playing outside of the playground with his friends.
Exactly. And I love that kind of style. I just, whenever he gets the ball to his feet, I go like, all right, here we go. Let's do it.
This is it. And to think he should be back after international break.
I heard something about that. I don't dare say anything out loud. I don't want to get my hopes up, but hopefully, yeah.
I mean, I don't want us to rush him back anyway.
No, absolutely not.
When he is back with Gallagher, Elise, Edouard, Zaha,
that's fire right there.
It's definitely looking promising. Big up Realist United. He said he was not happy with that game. Yeah, boy, there's a few times we've beaten you, so I'm sure you're definitely not happy at all. Just obviously for those who have come in late, you could briefly mention again how you became a Palace fan.
Well, basically, it was a lot of my mates supported a variety of Palace not Palace team, Premier League teams, and I got tired of being left out of those conversations back in the day. So about 7 years ago, I went into the room or apartment of my friend and said, you know what? I want a team. I don't want any top team. I want a more local, smaller, but with a wholehearted family feel to it. And I ended up with Palace, and I don't regret it for a second. The longer version will be found back.
Absolutely. But words like community, family, and atmosphere were mentioned, which I don't think anyone would disagree with. Vanano in Fergie time, need I say more? What a goal that was as well, to be fair. And that was the first time Wan-Bissaka played against us as well.
Exactly, and I think he kind of gave the ball away as well.
I think so. Kabay, the GOAT. Jeez, I'm spoiled to be a United fan. Bradley's mad cheeky, you know. This was the question I had asked earlier regarding Eze. Also, it must have been a challenge to follow the games when Palace were outside the Prem due to less coverage. Takes real commitment and dedication.
Well, I don't know if I should say fortunately, but I wasn't a fan back then. I've always experienced the Premier League football of Crystal Palace. So, sure, that would have been incredibly hard. It's kind of hard to watch them in the Premier League, to be honest. But ever since COVID started, the Viaplay of Sweden have been showing all games all season. So I haven't missed a single game for like 2 years now, which is great.
That's awesome. Eze is the new Yannick, and Yannick was a player. It was the cheerleaders that did it, wasn't it?
Came for the team, stayed for the cheerleaders. Yeah, sure.
Could have just said I got the short straw. So you'll get to the community is just jokes, man.
I enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoy it.
Defo fortunate, Jesper. Number one, but Rich wanted to see the Dougie Freeman years laugh out loud. Yeah, Rush. Those were hard times, but come on. New season, things are looking good. Mad excited at the moment. So yeah, we'll leave the past in the past. Please. Nice shirt, Rich. Yeah, like finally the home kits have arrived. Obviously you've seen them in live on TV and stuff. I've finally got the home kit. Bit of background to it, if you didn't know, our producers, a lot of the workers got COVID, so obviously the factories and that were closed down and stuff. So hence the massive delay in shirts, but they're here now. So Palace or non-Palace fans, if you want to go and order a shirt, you can do so on the Palace website. It's a cheeky plug. Realist United says 2-0 Belgium. Oh, I didn't realize that. When it comes to international football, I switch off. I won't lie. Let me see if Christian has scored.
That'd be good for him if he gets to
it would be, because I think he realizes now that he's on the bench.
Yeah, exactly.
Are there any up and coming Swedish players to keep an eye on? Well, I know this is
Alexander Isak. Yeah, most definitely. And as well as Kulusevski, I'd say, plays for Juventus at the moment. And like we said earlier, in the national team, they're great together. They really produce. Fortunately, we didn't get the win last time against Greece, I think it was, but still looking good for us at the moment in the group stage.
Good stuff. To put a bit of context, Belgium 2, France 0. Carrasco and Lukaku. France have been looking a bit. France have been looking a bit iffy lately.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is, but you know.
But I mean, they're up against Lukaku, and he's on fire at the moment. So
yes, to be fair.
And I mean, Belgium is by no means a bad team.
No, not at all, not at all. But France have always seemed to get the better of them. It looks like you need to show off your jacket.
Oh yeah, I got it from last season.
Yeah, the retro one. Yeah,
I love it. I mean, everything that's retro. I think that's why I dig the yellow shirt, the away shirt so much as well. It also got that nice retro feel. I just love that type of shirt.
Realist United says, no, I like France, laugh aloud, but they're in the bin right now. Yeah, they definitely are. Gallagher has scored for England.
Really? I don't know if I'm supposed to be happy or not about that. It just means that he's slowly drifting further and further away from us.
Yeah, we're going to have to enjoy him when we can.
Yeah.
Because, he'll be gone. All bias aside, who is the best footballing Scandinavian nation?
I don't think it's Sweden, honestly. I'd have to go with Denmark or Norway. Most probably Denmark, to be honest. I mean, Norway's got Holland, but I mean, Denmark in general have so many good players at the moment, which sucks because Denmark is a shit country. No, no, it isn't. There's a bit of rivalry going on in the Nordic area, but fair play to them. I wish them all the luck, and I think they can go far.
Interesting. How's your World Cup qualifying campaign going?
At the moment, it's good. I'm not saying we should be through already, but Spain hasn't been looking all too good. We managed to get 1 point in the first game against them, and then we got 3 points in the second game. So I think we're still top of the group. Not sure. I think we still are, but we lost, like I said, to Greece in the last international break, which was a bummer. Yeah. Because I think we could have really, got a grip of the first place there. Fortunately, we didn't.
That is. Reality United says 3-4-1 Tunis. I think he's referring to France. Big up Richard Jesper and big up Rosoli. Oh boy, Roland produces great content, United content. So does Bradley as well. Got awesome content as well. Just had a little girl as well, so he's kind of taken a bit of a break, but he'll be back. All right. He'll be back. France pissing me off like United. And he's asking, so you've said who's the current best football in the Scandinavian nation, but who is the best of all time?
That's a hard one. Mostly because I'm not really sure about the history in general of the other nations. We've got one bronze back in '94. I think we've got a silver from way back in the day. So if we're counting medals, I think Sweden is a top. But in terms of players or stuff like that, I couldn't answer. I don't have a good answer for that. But medal-wise, it would be Sweden, I think.
Cool. All right, let's talk this season. How do you think it's going?
To be honest, I think it's going great. I mean, I wasn't expecting miracles. I wasn't expecting us to be top of the table. I also wasn't expecting us to do this well in relation to the games we've had. I mean, we started off playing Chelsea, and sure, that wasn't a great game, but I mean, even against Liverpool, that we unfortunately got beat by 3-0, was still good. I saw bits and pieces of that game that I really enjoyed, and this year is going to be a process, and I just, as of this moment, I'm really enjoying the development in the team and the way Vieira is playing the players.
Yeah, what have you noticed that Patrick's done that pleases you the most?
It feels like the way he's made the players feel more secure with the ball. I don't know how he's done it, but it doesn't feel like I'm watching Palace at the moment. The way the backline is playing, the way the midfield is playing, it's gorgeous to watch. And I mean, the result we're getting, especially in possession and stuff like that, it's great to see. So I'd say he's brought a lot of, how do you say? I'm lost for words here. Not courage or anything, but he's made the players realize that they are actually good players, and you can tell by their performances.
No, absolutely. Where would you think we would finish this season then?
I don't think we will get top 10 this year. I think we'll end up at 11 or 12th. If we do, however, it's a great season. And I mean, if we manage to grab 10 or 9, I'd be ecstatic. I mean, that would be amazing. But I'm thinking we'll be around 11 or 12.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had a very tough run-in to begin with, which actually continues with Arsenal at Emirates when we come back. That's a Monday night game as well, isn't it? Oh.
Yeah,
the Monday ones are just horrible. Just have to wait for everyone else to play first. It's ridiculous.
I don't feel in any way that game is unwinnable for us. I think we have a good chance, even though it's away. I think we'll beat them. Yeah, I'm very hopeful that we will.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I think after that we should have a more favourable run-in.
Yeah,
so hopefully we can start picking up the points we actually deserve.
Exactly.
Because obviously the last 2 games we've dropped 4 points. I didn't think I would ever be saying that so comfortably.
No, sure.
We've dropped 4 points. I was at the Brighton game at Sellers Park. The drive home. I mean, I didn't drive home. I had to drive to try and find petrol because we have a petrol crisis in the UK. And that was like quiet. I didn't put no music on, nothing. I was just so annoyed. And then the fact I couldn't find petrol was it'd be even more annoyed and such. And then obviously the Leicester game was just like, we're dominating, and then we made silly mistakes. But the character shown by the boys is just unreal.
Sure.
You know? And Elise, what's your thoughts on that young kid?
What's my thoughts on Elise? I could go on all night. That kid is just pure magic, isn't he? The last sub he did, I don't think he made a mistake. I think he made like one bad pass. But other than that, everything he did was just golden. It was just, I think that might have been the best 20 minutes anyone's ever had as a sub. Yeah. It was just great.
He's staked a claim to start, in my personal opinion.
Definitely. And I mean, sure, I'm sad for Ayew as well, because I've got nothing against Ayew. It's just that he's hit such a dry spell that it's unbelievable. And then Elise comes in and just gives us this performance. I have a hard time seeing how he's going to start Ayew next game. I just don't see it happening.
This is it. A few more comments. Just was the excitement in Sweden about NHL season starting soon. Lots of great Swedish players.
I'd say, yeah. But the thing is, if you compare it with football and ice hockey, like you're stating right now, we do have great players. We do also have really good players playing in the Swedish league as well. So NHL isn't necessarily as big as Premier League is in Sweden. But sure, people are excited. People that love hockey watch NHL. The entirety of Sweden watch the Swedish Hockey League.
I don't even know whether I should put this comment up. Bradley is something else, you know.
Go ahead.
Which Scandinavian nation has the fittest best?
Well, that's a hard one. Let's just hope the missus doesn't hear this. I'm gonna have to give it to the Norwegians, I think. So if that's what you're looking for, go to Norway. It's expensive though. Really expensive.
Don't show her the link to this.
I
won't. Brush, I would say put in Edouard for Arsenal. I think he scores.
Sure. I brought him in for the Spurs game. I didn't even put him on the bench. I just put him straight in. I was this close to putting a captain's badge on him, which I should have done in hindsight, but he gave me a fair amount of points anyway.
This is it. Are you both surprised how Vieira has been given time to implement his methods? De Boer didn't get that same time. I'll let you go first because I know what had happened as well.
Well, the thing is, with Frank, I didn't really see the type of development that we've been seeing with Vieira. Even I saw it even in the Chelsea game, and that wasn't a good game. But I could still see that there was that our direction had changed, you know, and like that, the game after the Chelsea game, it's just been like a freight train. It's been rolling and rolling and rolling. It's getting better and better and better. Frank de Boer never gave me that feeling. I had this constant feeling of insecurity during the time of Frank de Boer. What about you, Rich?
Insecurity is definitely a great word for it. But he was really he was alienating players and staff behind the scenes, and that was really pretty much the main reason why his time was up very quickly. You know, and obviously, we were trying to play a new style with 3-5-2, trying to play out from the back and stuff, but Vieira's got time because he's brought in a united front. He's really working well with the academy boys. And everything just looks great at the minute.
Yeah, it really does.
So fair play to him. Fair play to him. Are you guys annoyed by how Townsend's doing at Everton? I wouldn't say annoyed because I'm happy that he's doing well. But then Everton play a more attacking style of football than we did under Hodgson. Under Hodgson, we were literally like parking buses, personally.
And I mean,
I don't know what's your thoughts?
I'll give it to Townsend. He's a good player. He was a good player for us from time to time. He was a really good player for us from time to time. Maybe just not put to as good of a use as he is in Everton at the moment.
Yeah. Big up, there you go. See Palace, evening. Good evening to you too. Elise was 8 million.
That's crazy.
And that's Dougie Freeman for you, ladies and gentlemen. Does anyone dip biscuits in hot water in Sweden?
Asking the important questions here. No, unless hot water means tea, then sure, but not just hot water. No.
There's two very renowned YouTubers, KG the Comedian and Flex, both United fans, and one of them loves dipping biscuits into hot water.
All right. You do what you gotta do, man.
This is it. Dougie's officially a great scout. What was deader? Townsend Sue or his trim? What was worse?
I'd go for the trim. I mean, he's had a few haircuts, but I mean, none of them has really been hitting home, so to say.
The one he's got now just makes it so obvious that he's had a transplant as well.
Sure.
Like, there's no disguise.
No, not whatsoever. I'm just looking forward to him, getting a real nice header in and just ripping a few of them out.
Well, disclaimer, I didn't mention no names myself personally, but the chat have obviously mentioned which one of the two dips biscuits into hot water and such. There's no bigger flex than Townsend's hairline. And it says if Flex needs help. There's a few more that's popped up. 1 second. Vieira is developing each individual player's abilities. For example, Tarek Mitchell has won the most tackles in the Premier League so far this season, 24. He's been phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
he's been good. And I think he's kind of gone under the radar due to the fact that you kind of look at like the Gallaghers, the Sahars, and even our centre backs. But Mitchell's been superb. He has been superb. Apparently, he claims you can't taste the tea, but this hashtag hot Watergate is just not my thing. And then no bigger comeback than Townsend's hairline, absolutely. Big up vibes. Flex would get invited onto the squad game because he has biscuits and water.
I mean, all this talk about the Squid Game, I got to watch that show apparently because people around me won't stop talking about it. Is it as such a big deal?
Watch it.
All right. I'll take your word for it, Rich.
No, absolutely. Let's have this as the last question. This is a very good one. Who was better, Keane or Vieira?
That's one of the all-time biggest questions. I mean, two legends of the same era. Just because I'm biased now, I'm gonna have to go Vieira. I couldn't say anything else, but that is definitely one of the closer calls. I mean, I'd have to do some serious, thorough work to find out who I actually believe is the best or was the best.
100%. And you know what? I am more than happy to talk about it on Sunday. Such a great show, by the way. Such a great show. Guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Jesper, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Same, man.
And you're always welcome on the show.
Thanks, man.
Even if it's a match reaction, come and jump on that as well.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
You're more than welcome. And I guess get all your Swedish friends to come follow the channel and stuff as well.
Yeah, I'll get right on that, Rich.
And get some more Palace fans in Sweden.
Exactly. I'm preaching.
This is it. Diego C. Palace agrees with you, Vieira, as well. Absolutely. Guys, listen, thanks for tuning in. And thank you so much for obviously interacting in the comment section and the questions that are posted to Jesper. It's made the stream what it is. Jesper, keep repping the red and blue out there in Sweden. rock it up there in Stockholm when you go there to visit and stuff. You know, it's going to be a great season for us and exciting times. Is there any like business or anything that you do that might need promoting?
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Don't care about me whatsoever. Just keep on following Rich and all the great stuff he's doing. I thoroughly enjoy your channel, man.
I appreciate that. I really appreciate doing it and stuff. Oh, they're all chucking in comments now, you know. Big up, Jesper. Great stream. Really appreciate that. Good vibes. Like the energy. 100%. All right. I did say Brad was the last question, but go on. What's Eze's ceiling?
Hard to say at the moment. Unfortunate with the injury and everything last season. And if he hadn't run into this Achilles injury or whatever it is, I don't think I could even put a ceiling on the man. If there's a ceiling in FIFA or whatever, he'd be the one breaking the 100 barrier. I mean, he was hot. He was so on fire. Unfortunately, our team couldn't really support him and the way he was playing. So, like against Sheffield United, he took the matter into his own hands and just did what he had to do.
Like, what am I doing at left back?
Exactly.
This is it, guys. Really appreciate love and support, and yeah, just a call out for any other Palace fans across the world. I know there's quite a few Twitter handles in America as well that rep Palace, so hopefully I'll get them on and keep trying to find these fans. To be fair, you know, it's great talking to you guys. So yeah, guys, like, share, subscribe to Eagle Eye Football. Jesper, it's been an absolute pleasure. You're a legend.
Same to you, mate.
Guys, have a good evening. I'm going off to football training. I'm going to be late as well. Peace.